everyone. This is a tutorial video for a technology tool that I learned how to use for the class assignment, and it's Hypothesis. And it is a tool that is now available only recently through my learning management system at my university, Desire to Learn. And Hypothesis is a social annotation tool. And in this tutorial, I'm going to go over the rationale behind using it and also how to use it in your online courses. Why use Hypothesis? So Hypothesis, as I referred to in the title slide, is a social annotation tool, and it's perfect really for online teaching because what I find is there are some goals that I want to achieve through any of my teaching, but especially I would suggest with online teaching. And one goal that I wish to do is to ensure that my students learn how to critically analyze course readings and really get involved in their course readings. And this tool, which I'll be showing you, does do that it helps them kind of look at very specific content within online readings, like a PDF article. It can also be applied to websites, but for my purposes, I'm talking about PDF course articles. But to get back to what my point is, that it allows them to highlight specific areas and make comments related to what they are reacting to within the article, as well as I do assign them to apply course concepts as they're analyzing articles. So this is the perfect way for them to do that. It also helps them, which I think is kind of an issue with students, is also engage with other students, which sometimes can be very isolating in an online course. And one way to do that, which I kind of like this tool to do, is to have them discuss very specific content, exchange ideas, apply concepts from the course. And again, as I will show you, this tool does facilitate that. So I already said that I'm applying this to my Desire to Learn learning management system, but later in the presentation, there is a link that kind of says through the Hypothesis website how you can apply this to different learning management systems. So I like this tool, and why I'm utilize this tool and learn this tool for this assignment is that it's suitable for online students. It's very good in terms of getting them to engage in course readings and analyze course readings critically, and it helps them exchange ideas and socially engage with other students in the class. To further elaborate on why to use this Hypothesis social annotation tool, it's amenable to setting it up within different learning management systems. I'll go over the steps that I learned for this assignment and how to integrate it into my online course, specifically a graduate course that I thought was perfect in terms of looking at different types of readings. And I'll give you an example of that in later slides. What I like about it, and certainly what I've learned through Quality Matters, is that there should be several opportunities to enhance instructors' presence within the course. And I think definitely Hypothesis permits you to do that. And why I'm looking forward to using it actually in my upcoming spring semester is because it will be a way for me to, one, monitor students' engagement in their critical analysis of course readings, but also permits me to also kind of guide the process and make comments and reply to students' ideas. And again, it kind of gets another way for me to communicate with my students and to help them and guide them through the instructional process for the course. And I also believe it facilitates learner presence by, again, having students have a voice within the course, highlighting areas of readings and discussing ideas and sharing their thoughts in a critical and synergistic manner with other peers within the course. So I really think that this both achieves enhancing instructor presence and also learner presence. So in terms of what is the Hypothesis social annotation tool, I developed this slide for two reasons. One, I wanted to share the link for the specific course tool at the top. And also I kind of wanted to discuss for a few minutes from their website, kind of a screenshot from their website, how Hypothesis as a tool, an annotation tool, helps reading for students. And I find that at the undergraduate and graduate level, there's always room for improvement in terms of helping students critically read articles. So I like that Hypothesis on their website kind of breaks it down in terms of three basic things. It is a very active process. So as we all know, reading can be very passive in nature. So this helps through this course tool that I've learned for this assignment become much more of an engaging, dynamic process of reading that hopefully then facilitates more cognitive introspection, analysis, and learning. It's a visible process. So what do I mean by that is that you really see what students are thinking about through highlighting text and annotating text. And because of that, it really does kind of highlight what students are thinking about, what areas of knowledge they're kind of being attracted to within articles. And subsequently also one might think about what are the areas that are not being necessarily highlighted and annotated by the students. And that kind of also is an indication visibly of what they may not be understanding or they may not be thinking about as much, and that kind of guides me in terms of being a better instructor and highlighting those areas too. And last but not least, social. So the social area I kind of also touched upon that it's really, I think, a major advantage of using this annotation tool is that students get to engage not just with me, but with other peers in terms of really thinking about and applying course concepts. So for this assignment, as I alluded to, I learned about this tool, and I'm grateful for learning about this tool. And one of the steps, obviously, in the process is setting it up in my Desire to Learn learning management system. So what I learned, among other things, is how I can set up this in different courses, but of course also kind of giving you an idea of how you can set this up in your course too. So if you notice that there is a link from the Hypothesis website about the basic steps to be used for most learning management systems. So they kind of break it down in terms of different learning management systems and how you can set it up. For my purposes, I follow these steps in terms of how I would set it up in my Desire to Learn learning management system. So, of course, the first thing is to contact your learning management system administrator, which I did, in terms of just activating the tool. Like I said before, is recently acquired by my institution, and I'm so excited to be one of the first people, I believe, to integrate it into their courses. And then the next process, to be honest with you, because that's relatively straightforward for them to activate it, is for me to then identify a reading article, PDF, either one that I have or I've chosen or will choose. I can also choose websites or online content, such as online journals, blogs, with a link to be used. For my purposes, at this course that I'm thinking of trying this out, and again, I learned for this course assignment, I chose a reading article PDF. That's a good starting point, and I'll be showing you that idea in a few minutes what I chose. And in terms of then the next steps in the process is one, identifying the course that you want to add this Hypothesis enabled reading tool to. And within your course itself, and again, this might differ by learning management system, but choosing the content area of your course and then navigating to where you want this article link, Hypothesis enabled article link, to be added. And for my purposes, I have a zero module, which is the first module in any of my online courses. And I first, for this assignment, learned how to do it with the zero module. And the zero module in any of my courses is really related more to how to get started in an online course and online resources and things like that. So I'll show you the article in a few slides. So then from through D2L, what I had to do is just making sure that my link to the article was also then correspondingly link to my external learning tool for my purposes, that being Hypothesis. So it's just a matter of, pretty simplistically, I think, that you find the article, you designate it where you want it, and then just making sure that the link to the article is then linked to your tool. And again, what I learned for this course assignment was Hypothesis. So the next part of this process is to create what's referred to as LTI link. The LTI link is what you're creating within your module to then set up for students to click on an article that you've entitled and put into your module. So then they can open up and click on it, and they can start annotating a PDF article. For my purposes, PDF articles. So it really is an easy process. It seems like it's very involved, but it's just kind of relatively intuitive. And it's really easy from the student's perspective because all they have to do is click on a link that you've set up within your module. They don't have to set up an account. There's nothing that's needed. They just need to click on the link, and they'll get to that hypothesis-enabled reading. So let me show you in the next slide what that looks like.
So I want to show you
I've created a video within a video to help you see what the hypothesis-enabled reading looks like once a student clicks on it, opens it up,
and
follows the instructions within it. I created this for my Aging and Family graduate level course, and this is related to Module 0, which, if you recall, it's just focused on online resources and kind of familiarizing the student with the structure of the online course.
And
just a week-long module, so they can feel prepared to then start the course
article
technically with Module 1 the following week. So let's look at
on the far right
video.
Cursor, you can scroll down as you see the left hand side of your screen, the actual article itself.
So I put it in my Module 0, and it's an article
let me show you
related to the focus of Module 0, which is about online learning and online resources.
There's different comments that have already been made
for them to learn
related to this. I just want to show you a new one. So let's say one of your students is interested in this sentence, related to commenting on that sentence. So once the student highlights it, and this is in the instructions that you would provide, once they highlight a section of an article, like a sentence or a paragraph, there is a box that pops up that says annotate and highlight. So first, click on or instruct them to click on annotate.
Article itself.
And when you click on that, what you're going to notice is what the student has highlighted actually is replicated here above the comment, and your student's name would be there. And then they would make a comment like,
so let's say one of your students is interested in,
obviously much more in depth than
commenting on that
something like
sentence.
Agree, but
So
they should further, especially in the course when you have annotated articles related to course concepts and things like that. But once they've made their comment related to what they've highlighted within the article itself,
that says annotate
then
and
they
highlight.
will
So
click on post.
click on or
So now
instruct them
the entire class can see
click on
what they've
annotate.
said, and if the student wants to further edit what they've said,
And
they
when you
can
click
hit
on
edit,
that,
which
what
is
you're
the
going to
pencil. They
notice
can
is what the student has
remove their
highlighted
comment if they want
actually is
to
replicated here
totally
above the
redo it, or
comment, and
they
your
someone
student's name
else
would be
can
there.
reply
And then
to
they
what they
would make a
posted.
comment
So it's kind of a
like,
nice, again, way for students to both
obviously
comment
much
on
more
article
in-depth
content and apply
than
content from the
something
course,
like
but
Agree.
also
But
for
they should
classmates to
further,
interact
especially in the
and
course,
to
when you have
apply
annotated articles
to others'
related
ideas.
to course concepts and
So
things like
that's
that.
the basic
Once they've made their
format
comment
of,
related
again,
to what
using
they've highlighted
Hypothesis
within the article
applied
itself,
to course
then they
readings
will
within your
click on post.
course, and I hope that this was
So
helpful.
now the entire class can see what they've said, and if the student wants to further edit what they've said, they can hit edit, which is the pencil. They can remove their comment if they want to
totally redo it, or someone else can reply to what they've posted. So it's kind of a nice, again, way for students to both comment on article content and apply content from the course, but also for classmates to interact and to reply to others' ideas. So that's the basic format. Again, using Hypothesis applied to course readings within your course, and I hope that this was helpful.
So now that you've seen what this looks like, let's continue with seeing how you might be able to think about applying it. So we've already talked about the rationale behind using it and how to input it into an LMS. And if Desire to Learn is not yours, feel free to go to that link I've already suggested to you to look up your LMS on the Hypothesis web page and find yours so you can figure out how to do that. And you've seen the actual example of what it looks like. So I think it's very user-friendly. So what are the benefits of using Hypothesis annotation tool? So having gotten into this new technology for this assignment, what I learned, and I think is true, is I think, researching it and again, attempting to utilize it in different ways as examples of what students might do. I think it's a flexible tool for different course content. I think you can use it in a lot of different ways. Again, I just gave the example of PDF readings, but you can use it in a lot of different ways. It showed, and I think you probably saw that with the mini video I gave you, that it's intuitive format. It really does, I think, make clear sense in terms of how to navigate using the tool, utilizing readings as the basis for making comments. It's easy to see how there's social engagement in terms of replying to others' comments. And again, what's nice is, and I really didn't highlight this as much in the video, that replies can be in the form of written text, images, hyperlink text, video. So I think that there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how students can both post their comments within a hypothesis, but of course also how they can reply. Tool assignments it seems to can be relatively integratable into a lot of different learning management systems, but importantly, and I would be kind of utilizing this more and looking at it more, is how it can be integrated into course grading systems. So you can be looking for a certain number and quality of course reading analysis questions as you're going along. I feel it's useful for both undergraduate and graduate levels of instruction, different levels of reading, of course, but I think most classes, if not all of my college classes in my experience, and I've been teaching almost 24 years, really course readings sometimes being difficult for students. I think if you can help encourage them to really analyze what they're reading and applying concepts, I think that can only further their learning. As I said before, they can certainly interact with posting. As in addition to replies, they can post video, audio, or written comments as they're critically analyzing content within the course, the content of the course. So it shouldn't be necessarily something beyond the course content. And what's nice is even mobile device users can use this through a link with the Hypothesis web address. So there are ways to utilize this for mobile device users also beyond the laptop or tablet. And what's really nice is once you check out the actual website itself, there's a lot of helpful support resources for students related to how to navigate the course tool and apply it in their learning. So in conclusion, after using the Hypothesis social annotation tool, learning how to first install in my course, but also how it would work within my course and learning how to navigate it from a student's perspective, I think it's a great learning tool for students to, again, actively engage in reviewing course readings, for example, PDF articles, I think it's visually very intuitive and engaging for posting comments or replying to others' comments in the class, which again addresses my goal of having social engagement within an online course. It's a great opportunity to have both instructor presence and learner presence in a dynamic format. And although there might be some degree of multiple steps in setting it up, I think it's a very valuable tool for, again, learner engagement and helping my students with critical analysis skills and your students. But I think ultimately it just enriches the online environment to really help that process of making it much more of a facilitatory and supportive learning environment. So last but not least, I felt it would be good to share if you have any questions related to this course tool and would like to follow up. There's some great resources on the Hypothesis website. There's the help link at the top of this page, as well as there's some really good examples of how both teachers and students have utilized this collaborative annotation tool and how you can use it in your classes. So I thought I would offer this information for this, again, tutorial to help you in terms of further investigating whether you might want to use it in your online courses. Thank you very much.